Is it raining at the Shining at the moment? Because
both.
At the moment, it's been doing everything. Yeah.
Well, wait a while if you don't like what you got, because you'll get something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, opening arrows. We have Denmark with an 8 on that shot. We've got Norway with a 9.
Yeah.
And so it's a 1-point lead for the team of Denmark.
Both teams leading off ladies first?
Yes, indeed.
10 from Denmark.
10 points there is going to be very useful to them.
Yeah.
Norway following up with a 9, which gives an advantage to... Yeah. Well, we've got a tie here.
A tie at the moment. So we're obviously shooting. Both ladies are shooting 2, and then I'm guessing the guys are going to shoot 2.
Is it unfair to say, because I think I have seen this trend, but maybe it's just wishful thinking. There's a 10. Is it wishful thinking or a trend? Women often outshoot the men in this round.
I was just about to say the very same to you. All the time, I think, is the answer that both the boys are showing off.
What is going on there? Why do you think that's going on? It happens all the time.
There we go. That's a tie, isn't it, all around?
Yeah, it looks like it.
I really don't know. The Great Britain team, this became like an in-joke in the team about 5 years ago, and this started. That at the time, Chris White was shooting for us, and whoever went out there with him beat him.
Yeah.
So
you and I, we met in Dover back in 2006?
7.
Yeah. Long time ago, right?
2001, I first met you at the US National.
That's right.
Canton.
But as far as working together, I was the announcer for that World Cup event in Dover.
Yes.
Where we dubbed people like the Diva of Dover.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I remember that we had the first mixed team event. Now, it was a little different. It was more mixed, you know. But even then, it seemed to me that the women were just crushing the men. And then we had the current version of the recurve mixed team the following year in Turkey.
Yes.
And I remember Jenny, I can't remember her married name.
Jenny Nichols
from the United States. Yeah. She beat Brady Ellison, crushed him.
Yes.
It was kind of funny. So yeah, this is kind of a fun trend that we've seen, but it shows you one thing: the women absolutely can hold their own under pressure.
Oh, completely. And I think it's the ladies tend to shoot first, so they tend to lay down a stronger foundation and shoot their shot, and then the men tend to shoot second. I also remember last year in Antalya, Ren Hayakawa absolutely destroying Furukawa.
Furukawa.
And Ren
Takahara Furukawa is a great shooter, but Hayakawa Ren from Japan is actually originally from Korea.
Yeah.
And you, as you well know, she and her sister Nami were serious forces to be contended with in the Asian archery scene.
Yes.
Nami was the first world indoor champion for Japan back in 2007 in Turkey, in Izmir.
Correct.
And her sister Ren, who was arguably a better shooter, had some passport trouble and was not able to represent Japan for the first few years of her university archery career. So finally she got her passport and she was able to represent Japan, and she went on to help win Japan's first bronze medals at an Olympic Games at Lord's in London, where you helped run the field of play.
Absolutely.
It was great to see.
Yes. Yeah, she's a real character as well.
Isn't she though? She's well, among other things, she's tall.
Yes.
And she has a real sense of humor.
A lot of energy.
And a lot of energy. Yeah. She's actually out with a injury. She's been out with a shoulder injury. She's been coaching in Nagasaki, and very successfully, from what I understand.
Fantastic.
So
really
hopefully she'll come back to archery competition. But if not, she's got a great career ahead of her as a coach. Just a terrific person. I actually got to see her again at her sister's wedding, at Nami's wedding. Some time back, so that was kind of cool.
That's really good. Great shooters, both of them, and sadly missed on the scene at the moment, but Japan have a strong recurve team right now.
And the reason is because Japan's got some depth there.
Yes. So, full
but right
square
now,
here.
It's the Battle of the Vikings, and it's a draw, 37 each. And so we've got a dozen arrows to go.
We have. Ladies leading off again.
Well, it's a winning formula. Why not?
Absolutely.
When we get to the finals over the weekend, we will be doing this individually. In other words, they'll be alternating, right? So you'll be able to focus on one target or another.
Yes.
Right now they're shooting simultaneously.
Yeah.
Okay, there is on target 1, 9 points for Norge. And the Danes respond with a 10.
Yep, just caught the 10 line there.
Just barely. Norge getting ready to shoot again.
Good shooting.
And 8 on that shot.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it looks like another 10 from Denmark on that shot. Now that's a 2-point advantage, potentially.
Yeah.
Maybe even 3. For some reason, the scoreboard was showing, yes, now it is showing correct. It's 8. And there's Norge with a 9, and I should say that's an 8 for Norway and a 9 for Denmark. So the men, guess what? Like
I know, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 2 9s from Damsbo to Tanja's 2 10s.
And you know Martin doesn't normally shoot 9s.
No, feeling the pressure of his teammate.
Maybe so. Another 9.
A 9. So
curse of the commentator.
Yeah.
4-point advantage for Denmark at 8 arrows with a total of 9 shots to go.
Yeah, that's a big advantage there.
Yeah. 9 arrows down.
You know, when it's this tricky, I'm just looking over at the flags there. Take nothing to swan bad arrow in this, and it's wide open again. So
you know, this field's been hard to read. As you know, I've been doing a little coaching for a certain team on this field, and it has been. As a coach, sitting out there on the line, you can't tell what it's doing. It's hard to read. Yeah, it's a big field, and there's not many what we'd call landmarks for the wind, right?
Yep, nothing.
Trees are 400 meters away.
And I think it's been a different direction every day.
It has been a different direction every hour. It's also been different weather every hour. We've had clouds today. We've had pouring rain, tropical rain. Yep. We've had, without the temperature, mind you. We've had blistering sun. Right now, we've kind of a mix right now. Thin cloud, flat light. Normally, pretty good weather for shooting, but the breeze is devilish.
Yeah, it's the recurve men's qualifying scores yesterday were quite shocking. Like we were talking, what's going to be top score at the start of the day, and we're thinking 70, but
how about Ojinhyuk? There's an example of somebody who. The lowest of the lows to the highest of the highs, as it were, right?
Yeah.
He went from 65th to 30th in 2 ends and ended up moving 30 places in 4 ends.
Yes.
I mean, he started out, and he said in his interview with World Archery, he said that he'd lost his timing, basically, for the first few ends. And so, obviously, for somebody like him, that's really important because of his form, the way he shoots the shot. He's not a typical Korean shot, right? Yeah. So he's very timing oriented on that shot.
Yep.
And without it, he looks like he's on the edge of disaster half the time, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it's amazing he pulls it off. He's powerful, strong and very mentally tough.
Yeah. But normally in a ranking round, if you get behind, it's damage limitation. You can't expect to jump up so many. Oh, the rain's back now.
Yep.
Here we go.
Here it is. Yep. Like I said, you don't like what you got, just wait 5 minutes. You'll get something else. 75 points for Denmark, 71 points for Norway. Now, looking at the recurve mixed team matches right now. The the mixed team of Korea versus Australia is tied at 2-2. Germany versus Mexico in the recurves is tied 2-2. Japan, which is Takaharu Furukawa and now Kaori Kawanaka, who did so well at Lords.
Absolutely.
3-1. So both of these two have medals from Lords.
Yep.
And they are up against the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, what Americans refer to as North Korea.
Yes.
Now we've also got the United States of America, and they are shooting against the People's Republic of China. Right now, Brady Ellison and Lenola Pritchard have a 4-0 lead over Gu Zhizhong and Zhu Zhuma. For Italy, Mauro Nespoli and Natalia Voleva, the legend Natalia Voleva, 7-time champion of the world.
Yes.
Shot for 3 different countries. Shot for the USSR, for Moldova, and for Italy, finally. Taking world championships from the age of about 19, if I'm not mistaken.
95, she was?
95 in Birmingham.
Yes, Wilden does.
I'll tell you a story about that later.
I was there changing the target face.
That's actually, we may have met there.
Yeah. briefly.
You may have changed my target face. I shot the British indoor just before the thing in Birmingham.
I was a couple of targets up from you.
There you go.
2 10s from Tanja Jensen again for Denmark. She's crushing them right now. 10-8 from Norway.
I vaguely remember getting an English lesson that time. Had to do with the object that the judges carried to decide order of shooting at that time. I'll tell you the story later. Maybe off mic, I'll tell you the story.
I've got something to talk about as well in a minute. Oh, 40 from Denmark. I noticed Mr. Damsbo actually outshot his teammate with 2 X's there.
Well, there's quad bro 10. Yeah. That's 40 points. You're not going to see anything better than that. And there's nothing Norway can do to catch them.
Awesome form there from Damsbo.
Yeah, nice and steady.
So a bit of a sad story about 95 World Indoors, obviously, because I know you got one of the special quivers that were made by a real gentleman, Les Newsom, who unfortunately a couple of weeks ago passed away, which very sad. And the amount of support for Les in his last few weeks was incredible. And they had a huge church for his wedding in Leeds. And that many people turned up from the archery community that nearly half had to be outside during. Unbelievable. And he actually became a shop owner about 10 years ago. Yeah. And Les had no family, so he left the business he established to the 3 men who worked there in full.
And so they are carrying on the legacy, are they?
Absolutely.
Just so that you know what my friend here is talking about, Les Newsom, leather craftsman.
Yes. Master.
In the old school, old world tradition.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So the participants in the event in 1995 in Birmingham, which was the World Indoor, which was a highly successful event.
Yeah, fantastic.
Received a tooled leather quiver, just a magnificent piece of craftsmanship. I still have mine in a place of honor in my home.
Yeah, I remember you talking to me about it. Yeah, that's why I mentioned it. Yeah, so real, a real tradesman, and people like that just aren't around anymore.
No, they're, we lost another one, a good friend of ours, Werner Beider, last year. And I'll never forget Werner, and every time I'd see him, which was not enough.
Yeah.
He'd come up to me and he'd talk to me about things that he was working on, or he'd comment about things I was working on. And he never, ever claimed perfection.
No, always looking.
I'd look at something he handed me and I go, wow, Werner, this is perfect. And he'd go, it is not perfect. It is good. It is not perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
He really, just a wonderful man and a good friend.
Yeah.
And as we get older in our sport, you and I both, going back as far as we do, you appreciate the people.
Absolutely.
Which is another reason why we're very thankful that our friend Morten is feeling well.
Absolutely. And it is, I've heard it mentioned so many times the last year, the archery family, and I really have grown to appreciate it as I grow older. Oh, Japan.
Okay, looking at the recurves, just for a moment, bringing us back to the present. It is Japan with a victory of 5-1 over DPR Korea.
Yep.
So Japan is moving on.
Absolutely. And who will they face at Mexico
let's check
Germany,
this bracket carefully, because they've got it rearranged in order to handle the TV targets. But I'm pretty sure, if we're looking at this right, it's going to be either USA or China in the next match. I'm pretty sure that's right. So I think right now the prospect of Brady Ellison coming up against Takaharu Furukawa and Lanola Pritchard facing Kaori Kawanaka looks pretty good.
Yes.
Based on the current score of 4-2 for USA versus China.
Yep. Of course, Valeva is against our own country.
Yes, indeed. It's our home country, Moldova.
Yeah, that's probably, I bet that's never really happened.
Alexandra Mirta, well, I'll bet these kids look, they're kids relative to, and they must look up to her in a big way.
Massive.
She's got to be a hero.
Yes.
And she certainly deserves the title.
Yes.
Natalia Valeva is something special in our sport.
Absolutely.
I have a very good friend who's now the CEO of USA Archery, but many people know her as a young, blonde 14-year-old in the 1988 Olympic Games, and that's Denise Parker.
Legend.
A legend, indeed. Yeah. And Denise came up to me at the Barcelona Games, and she said to me, as she's looking at Valeva and her upcoming match against Valeva, she goes, she scares me.
Yeah.
Because you know what? But Natalia Valeva has a physical presence.
Yes.
She's a beautiful woman, and she is the most personable person you will ever meet.
Absolutely.
She's friendly and warm, and she's
yes.
nice. And she's scary when she's shooting against you because she's so powerful mentally.
Important. Yeah.
And her form is so amazing.
Yeah.
And I saw it again when she beat the great Miss Puck.
Yeah.
In Leipzig in 2007.
Massive
and Miss
match.
Puck had almost the same comment because she and I were pretty good friends. She came up to me and she goes, "Scary."
Yeah. But you know, it's part of being a great match play shooter, though, having a presence that people feel, and that was always the key of. Brilliant shooting from Mr. Damsbo to finish that match.
Yeah, let's turn our attention back to this for a few minutes.
Denmark really got that.
Just fantastic shooting.
Great shooting. I think Tanja was the highest scorer in the match.
I'll tell you what, this was a tremendous grouping performance from Denmark.
Yes. Yeah. Damsbo finished with 4 X's.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, he had to uphold the honor of the male species, as it were, because we were getting beat up pretty good.
They were.